So we just had the end of season event in Fortnite Chapter 7 Season 2. It was the Ice King versus the Foundation, and to our surprise, the Ice King ended up winning, technically. He ended up defeating the Foundation, he ended up freezing him in like his ice powers, and I mentioned this in my live stream because I did end up live streaming the event. The stream only lasted like 20 minutes long. I was hoping to stream the event and then play some Fortnite afterwards, but I guess the downtime has started and now we can't log into Fortnite, so I guess there goes that plan. But yeah, anyways, the Ice King freezes the Foundation, and then he himself ends up getting defeated by the Dark Voyager, who came down to the island and he ended up just disintegrating the Ice King. Like, he basically done like Thanos snapped him out of existence because he literally just like grabbed him and then just like out of existence. It was pretty funny to watch, to be honest. So yeah, the Ice King defeats the Foundation, and then the Dark Voyager ends up defeating the Ice King. And I just thought I would go ahead and just give my thoughts on the event, since I didn't end up keeping my live stream up because I only had that stream for like 20 minutes or so. But yeah, anyways, I overall really enjoy this event. I think this is one of the better events that we have had in recent years. I like that the events are getting better, because I remember back in the day, in like the Chapter 6 era or like the Chapter 5 era, Fortnite live events were kind of underwhelming, but it seems like they're getting better at it now. It seems like each event just keeps improving and improving, because we also had the Chapter 6 live event back in Chapter 6 Season 4 of like the end event. That one I thought was pretty dang good. It was kind of like Avengers Endgame, but in Fortnite. But what I want to specifically talk about in this video is how Geno done finessed Jonesy and the Seven into thinking he was the visitor. That was like the craziest plot twist I think I've ever seen from Fortnite. Even, I think it's like on par with Dwayne The Rock Johnson being revealed as the Foundation, because nobody could have predicted that Geno was actually the visitor. Because what ends up happening is, towards the end of the event, after the Foundation's defeated, the Ice King's defeated, basically what ends up happening is we end up stopping the 0 point from like basically just like creating chaos and just like going crazy. We end up stabilizing the 0 point, and then Jones is like, oh, our enemies are one step ahead of us the whole time, like, nothing is going according to plan. And then the visitor shoots Jonesy and then is like, actually, the event, or our plan is going exactly according to plan. And Pro ends up shooting Jonesy and reveals himself as Geno, which is crazy because, like I said, no one could have predicted that was happening, because we've been following the visitor since Fortnite OG Season 4, which, how long ago would that have came out? I don't really remember. I think it might have been like a couple months ago, maybe like around the end of 2025, start of 2026. But yeah, basically what happened is that in the Season 4 Battle Pass, we ended up getting this like alternate reality version of the visitor, because as we all know, the visitor was one of the few Seven members, along with the scientist and the Origin, who ended up getting lost to the Chrome back in back in Chapter 3. Those three versions, or members of the Seven, ended up getting like defeated by the Chrome, and all that remained was the Foundation and the Order. Those were like really the only two members of the Seven to like still be alive, because as we know, the Imagined is dead in Fortnite lore. So yeah, and those, well, I guess the Paradigm is, I don't really know if the Paradigm is technically still alive, or if she's like dead because she went into the 0 point in Chapter 3, and then we never really saw from her, or heard from her ever again. So all that really remains is the Foundation and the Order. And so yeah, we ended up getting this new version of the Visitor back in Season 4 OG Fortnite. And we were all like, who is this guy? Like, is he the same Visitor from before? Because he would always talk about remembering things that have happened in the past. Like, he would always mention that, like, he remembers, like, the meteor from, like, back in the original Season 4, he remembers the meteor coming down onto the island. He remembers everything that has happened, like, back in the original Chapter 1 era, but instead he is a new version of the Visitor, so we were kind of like, who is this guy? Is he a new version of the Visitor? Is he like some alternate reality version of the Visitor? That is kind of what we were led to believe, and that is what Jonesy and the Seven were led to believe was that this version of the Visitor was some, like, alternate reality version of that character. Well, come to find out towards the end of this event, that is not the case, and the Visitor is actually Geno in disguise. Like I said, that was a crazy plot twist, because he ends up shooting Jonesy. Jonesy's like, Geno, it was you the whole time, like, what the hell? And then he ends up, like, pushing Jonesy off the building, and then the Dark Voyager is all like, is everything going to plan, Master? And we were like, hold on, like, wait a minute. The Dark Voyager was actually working for Geno this whole time. Like, holy moly. Overall, it was a pretty dang good event, and I just kind of want to give my thoughts on it because, like I said, I didn't end up keeping that live stream up of me reacting to the event, so I just kind of want to get another video talking about the event. But, yeah, Geno done finessed Jonesy and the Seven into believing that he was some alternate reality version of the Visitor, when really, there is no alternate version of the Visitor. I was kind of talking about that on Reddit, where I was like, is this guy, or like, was he just lying about being an alternate version of the Visitor, or is there really some alternate version of the Visitor out there somewhere? But no, there is no alternate reality version of the Visitor. There's no alternate reality versions of the Seven. This guy was simply just Geno the whole time, and he just ran with this idea that he is some alternate version of the Visitor, and everybody in the Seven and Jonesy was like, no more questions asked. They were like, alright, cool, yeah, that makes sense, I guess, and then just ran with it. But I mean, hey, I guess it worked out for him in the end, because Jonesy's dead. Well, I mean, he's been shot. I don't know if he's dead. We'll just have to wait and see. But the Foundation is currently frozen again, so it ain't looking too good for Team 7 over there. They're looking pretty cooked. But, yeah, overall, I did really like the event. If I had to rate the event, I would give it like an 8 out of 10. It was pretty dang solid. But I am surprised that the Foundation ended up getting defeated by the Ice King. I was fully expecting the Foundation to win. But I guess if he would have won the rivalry, like, in real time, like, if Team Foundation would have won the rivalry, because Team Ice King ended up, you know, beating Team Foundation in, like, this rivalry season. So I feel like if Team Foundation would have won the rivalry season, then the Foundation would have defeated the Ice King. But, oh god, Jesus, sorry, you gotta give me a minute here. But lo and behold, that did not end up happening. The Foundation got defeated by the Ice King, and Jonesy is in critical condition. So who the hell knows what the future of the Fortnite storyline holds, but I'm very much looking forward to Chapter 7, Season 3, that comes out tomorrow, so you can probably expect, I might stream that season a little bit, I might do some games, I might live stream this season, so you can probably look forward to that tomorrow, so you can subscribe to the channel, because we're only 99 subscribers away from 800, we are at 701, it is crazy that we finally hit 700 subscribers. I've been grinding for 700 subscribers for like over a year now. I hit 600 in May of last year. I think it was like the 19th of May when I hit 600 subscribers. And then it took me a year and like a month or so, or like a couple weeks, to go from 600 to 700, and now I'm at 701. So we're only 99 away from 800. So I wonder how long it'll take for me to hit 800 subscribers, and if I can hit 800 in 2026 as well. That would be pretty dang sweet. But yeah, that's going to wrap it up for this video. Like I said, I'll probably live stream Fortnite Chapter 7 Season 3 tomorrow. And then I'll also upload my review for the Amazing Digital Circus, the last act, tomorrow as well. But overall, I did think this event was pretty dang solid. I did like it, and that plot twist of Geno being the Visitor was crazy. I can't believe bro finessed everyone that he was some alternate version of the Visitor. They just heard that idea, and they were like, no questions asked. Like, they just took it, and they were like, I guess he's an alternate version of the Visitor. Which makes me wonder if we'll get an alternate version of the Scientist when Fortnite OG Season X rolls around. I wonder what's going to happen then, if they're going to go with some alternate version of the Scientist, and who he could be, if he ends up being the Dark Voyager, or if he ends up being some other character. We'll just have to wait and see. But that's going to wrap it up for this video, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.